too about you here. I had to go over this thing that I was supposed to do a second interview, and I've been meaning to do this video for Nancy Grace, but I got cut short. I was on for one question, but I got cut short because of the people that turned in the Bella Bond story. The person that turned in the mother, which I don't want to waste my breath saying, but I mean, this was a pre-interview and questions I was supposed to go over with Nancy Grace. Like I said, I got cut short and they came on and time ran out in the show, but I would like to go over, as you can see up here, this is the person that sent me in and I talked to, and I did mess up kind of in a way in the interview because they wanted me what I thought of the father, and due to the fact that I didn't have much time to go over what I wanted to say, I had to write it out of what I wanted to say, and what I said on the air wasn't what I wanted to say, even though this person that took down the info liked what I had to say. But I just didn't I didn't like it, and I was hoping that they'd call back and go over it again, but I guess that ain't gonna happen. Whatever, no big deal. But I just figured I'd throw this out there, due to the fact that, yeah, I want it to be known of what I really think of this father. And starting off with the questions was supposed to be, what do you think when you heard I'll just read them off here. The bio dad said he didn't think Rochelle Bond was involved in the death of Bella Bond, baby Bella. And oh yeah, that's why I wanted to get out what I wanted to say, and I had to write it out because what I said was what I said on the air, but it just didn't come out the way I wanted it. So thinking they might have called me back, I ended up writing out, this is what I think of the baby's father. And I wish I would have got it on air, but it didn't happen that way. So like I say, no biggie. But what do I think of the bio dad? Very disgusting. Here's a guy that leaves because he's not ready to be a father. Never seen Bella, never seen how Rochelle and how she lived and interacted with Bella. He's gonna blame DCF, McCarthy, but not Rochelle. He claimed he called to get Bella out. Well, he didn't call enough. Me, being a father of four, I'd call 1,000,000 times or got help to get my rights. He might as well go along with the story of they didn't kill my daughter, the demon did. Which is a sick thing to say on a poor little innocent girl like Bella Bond. It was just, wow, a shocking thing for that man to say that. And for him to come out with them words on his own daughter was just disgusting. I mean, you don't interact with your child. You don't see how that woman Rochelle lived, but yet you don't think she's capable of doing what she did, only because, yeah, when you were with her, probably all you two were doing were probably, yeah, screwing around in the bed. That's how the babies come along. And obviously you didn't live with her long enough to see any mood swings or changes that this woman would have. Unbelievably, I'm disgusted with that. And no, man, it wasn't right for him to just come out now and say all this crap. It's just disgusting. And I give him poor thumbs down rating of trying to be any type of the father he is, or even trying to claim he is. Because I would have been in that house, so I would have been calling, or there's plenty of programs out there to help you, and I would have gotten something somewhere. You know, it doesn't matter if you'd called DCF yourself or even call the police. I would have gotten something involved with that woman to get the kid out, whether it be with me, and try not to get it with DCF, because they're no saints either, but I would have tried my damnedest to just got her out of there more than what he said. He contradicted himself, and he said he went in there and he did all this kind of stuff. But at first he was saying he only called a couple times. His mother called a couple times, and not realizing what he said. Obviously, he's probably getting a bunch of bashes from the internet of people saying a couple times. Yeah, should have been a million times plus. Should have been Xfinity times plus. But anyways, the second question was, what do you think when you saw Rochelle Bond's mugshot? Did she look like that when you knew her? When I saw Michelle in 2006, no, she did not look like the mugshot. She had color in her face, and like I told a couple reporters, she must have just been starting off on heavy drugs. So, I mean, even the voice, when I heard her on the recording, the video on that newscast, it was like, whoa. I mean, she got deeper in the voice. Even when I saw her in 2008, her voice was dramatically changed. Her looks had dramatically changed within 3 years of 2006. So yeah, she was doing some heavy drugs. And you know, it's sad that daughter had to get up in that lifestyle. And the third question was, when you lived near Rochelle Bond, what suspicious behaviors did you notice? Well, I noticed, of course, like I said before, there was always constant yelling, fighting. She did have a boyfriend in 2006 living with her on the 3rd floor. But soon after, there was these other guys coming up and down, and her boyfriend at the time was a known drug dealer. But the drug dealing became prostitution because, yeah, she was inviting these guys up when the boyfriend was working or whatever he was doing. I think he might have had a job, but he was still dealing on the side. But then I started noticing the boyfriend and her fighting a lot more, and more men coming up and down. So, the beginning of a real bad life. Is that what I witnessed in her first kid? That when she actually had 2 kids, but they don't mention the second. Well, they do mention 2 kids, but they don't mention the second one as much as the older one. And it's sad. I sat there and witnessed this crap, and it's like, wow. And the only reason why I did not do or say nothing is because after our last altercation, and I said it, with her and her boyfriend, I have a video up of what happened into that altercation. I threatened to call the cops, and like I said, after that threat with the cops, yeah, and they were on their way, but they got out of there. Something happened where they just, nothing happened. The fight got over. It was all said and done, but after that, like I said, they started to disappear, didn't pay their rent, and it was all done. They were gone. They moved out. So they knew what they were getting into in their hot water. And yeah, and I did do what I could, but it was too late with that one. But at least them kids survived. They're still alive. I hope they're not too much traumatized of what she put them through. It sucks. But that's what I knew with the suspicious behavior that they asked. Like I said, I couldn't get it out because they ran me out of time because they wanted to get these other people in that called in and did get the report on them, but they couldn't say nothing on the show because they couldn't say nothing because it was still under investigation. So they cut me off for just to have someone say I can't say nothing about that, nothing about that, nothing about that. But like I said, ain't no crying over spilt milk. The interview's said and done. But when I ran into Michelle Bond in 2008, I did say it in my other video, she called my kid bastards. She started making out in the pool. In the way that this was going down with my kids in the pool, and I told this reporter that was taking my interview here that, what the fuck? She's in the pool making out with some girl in front of my kids, which are young at the time, 7, 8 years old. What was she think? She thinking this is a Scott Disick party from the fucking Kardashians, right? All these friggin' whore bags in a pool making out and or at his party. Yeah, that's what she reminded me of, a Scott Disick party. Disgusting. And I had to teach my kids when they asked later on, like, what were they doing in the pool? Two women kissing. 'Cause that's something I wasn't going over with my kids that young. And I just had to tell them that's what people do when they, when they get on drugs, heavy drugs, and do bad things, It's just sick and twisted of what that woman was doing. And yeah, she just, what the fuck, in the middle of a pool with kids there. I mean, it could have been anybody's kids, not just my kids. Anybody's kids. Sick. And it only goes to show that a mean streak that she showed towards kids, my two kids, only can go and show what she thought of her own, Mummy's in here doing work, and I could see her now, the poor little girl going through, Mummy's doing work, and get out of my room while she's with some client, as they claim, in her bed, screwing him, or the kid goes in watching some guy banging her mother, and, that's just fucking sick, man. How can you do that? I mean, there's a time and place for things, but when you're on drugs, you throw away everything in your dignity and your respect, and you throw away everything in your life that means something to you, and you just don't give a shit who sees and what is heard or said around you. That's it. It gets to that point. And then it sucks to say these kids had to go through this shit. And did you see any signs of drugs with Rochelle Bond? Yes, I did. But back in the day of 2006, like I said, I didn't say nothing to her because I didn't know her well enough that, I didn't say this to the guy, that came up to me afterwards that, yeah, she had needle marks in her arms. She could have been a diabetic. But she wasn't. She was a heroin addict, and she was just starting out with the heroin, and that explains why her mean streak kicked in, because if you don't get them type of drugs, and someone told me, man, once you do them drugs of any type of crack, heroin, cocaine, you get that one fucking high, like I said in my other video, and this person told me straight out, you're chasing that high for the rest of your life. And if you don't have the willpower, which this woman didn't have, you will never get rid of that addiction. Sad to say, never. It's either going to put you in rehab for the rest of your life, or it's just going to flat blunt right out kill you. And it's too bad it didn't kill Rochelle Bond, because she just kept doing things of the unordinary and bringing kids in this world that shouldn't even been involved with that shit. She should have got her ass fixed. And if someone with a serious drug addict problem like she has, any woman, and they know that they're not going to get off that drug, and they're going down the street from my house to a fucking methadone clinic, any woman should be fixed right now. They should get fixed, cut off from having any kind of kids or babies, and that's that. If the ones can show that they are treated, been treated, you know what? Then you get your life back. Then you can decide if you want kids or not. Women like Rochelle Bond, you should have been cut off from having any goddamn kid. You should have been fixed by the doctors. The law should have made you been fixed. And that's what should happen today, because today's society is starting to be more and more of, oh, who cares if we drop out kids? We get paid by the state, and we get this and that, and they give us money, but when the long run comes in, people don't realize what they're dealing with when they're ADHD, bipolar, and all these symptoms come out, and they're fucking cranky, crying, blah, 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 and they're sitting there screaming, yelling, they're running around, you can't control them, you're up and down the street, you're up and down in your bed at night, and you're going through a mentalism problem with your kids smashing, breaking things like me, and they're friggin' fighting with you, arguing with you, fuck off, this, that, and then all of a sudden a bit of rage, I killed my kid. Just like that, as fast as I was talking, as fast as I'm speaking, that's how life goes with these kids that are bipolar disabled, and it sucks to say I got 4 of them. I have 4 of them, and people Just the other day, some guy said to me, I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you do it. I've had counselors say, I don't know how you do it. I tell them all the time, this is my sobriety. I was a 17-year alcoholic, and if this ain't going to help me, nothing will. I know if I go back to drinking, I'll be all over the place. I was suicidal when I was drinking. It didn't dawn on me until, until my son was born in 2000 that, whoa, I mean, I went to jail, and here I am sitting in jail. I got a son out there that needs me. I got a son on the way, and I sat in jail thinking, look where I am now, due to my stupidness and my drinking. This is what Michelle Bond is not thinking of, and it's sad to say, you either clean up, shape up, or you ship out and you get yourself fixed. That's what it should be today with women that can't control their drug use. That's it. If you can't get that inner willpower to shut you off from drugs completely, then you don't deserve to have no more kids. You should be fixed. End of story. That's what today's society should be of. Because there are other kids out there not even just doing drugs, but just having babies just to make fucking money, and it's disgusting. And then them ones end up dead because they're not drug users, but they didn't know what they were getting into. It's all the walks of life out there that's happening right now. And people like this, Michelle Bond, and people like other people, just having kids for money. You should just be fixed, dropped off, done. But other than that, this was the interview, the second interview I was supposed to do. But like I said, I got cut off because of the people that supposedly turned her in, but they did an interview for nothing because they couldn't even say nothing because the investigation's still going on. So, I don't know, whatever. But Nancy Grace, if you watch this video, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much. I mean, I'm just as well as you, just got some thoughts and theories and disgusted from beyond disgust. And I just hope what I said in this video will clear up that interview. But I got out what I had to say. Other than that, YouTube Nation, next video coming up soon. Out.